Alright guys, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go for a little drive down the motorway, and I'm going to try to describe the story behind this car, how it came about, and yeah, how was it possible to pick up a car like this for the amount that I did. It was very risky. I mean, the chances are it was just scrap. It wasn't going to run, it wasn't going to drive. It was the end of it, but I believed, and yeah, some people say I got lucky, but I wouldn't say I got lucky because I did go over and check the car and so on. But yeah, let's go for a little drive. See, weather has been on my side, as I said previously. Absolutely shocking. It's been sun shining all morning, so I got up bed nice and early and decided to film a little video for you guys. But yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we're in England. Right, so basically, how did I come across this car? Me, as a 20-year-old, I had a holiday away from uni. I had a holiday away from uni in January, which was actually about a month long. Well, it started off in December and then finished off in January. And what happened was, I worked a lot on building sites, doing a bit of labouring. The pay was really good. So actually, over a month, I managed to save up just under £2,000. Then January came. I went back to studying. Unfortunately, at that point in time, I didn't actually have a car, as previously I had to sell my car. So I went back to studying, and I realised that actually it takes me about an hour and a half to get to university, and an hour and a half to come back down from university. Due to the traffic, if I get the bus. By car, however, I save about an hour's of time each way. Of course, I have to pay for petrol, for insurance, but yeah, it always made sense to me to go to uni by car instead of going to uni by bus. So actually what I did was, I started looking for cars to buy. I looked through Auto Trader, and unfortunately within my budget there wasn't anything too nice out there. I wanted to spend no more than £1,000, possibly a little bit more if the car is really nice. I'm a really hands-on guy, so I wouldn't mind doing any other work myself. So if the car needs a little bit of TLC, a little bit of bodywork, a little bit of even painting, I would absolutely go for it and give it a go myself. As you know, from when I was younger, I've always been passionate about fixing up cars and just cars in general, especially nice cars. Yeah, so then I came across Copart. Of course, Copart is known for salvage cars. Not many people like using it because obviously you never know what you're going to get at the end of the day. You never know whether it's an insurance car, you never know whether it's someone has just gave it in because they had enough of that car. You never know, basically. So I've been told that it's safe to buy from Copart as long as you know what you're doing, basically, and you go check the cars out. So I've done my research, picked up a couple of cars which would have reasonable insurance costs for myself, as I am only 20 years old currently. And actually those cars, there was a Toyota Aygo there was a Mercedes A-Class, the old shape one, 2008, and there was another Toyota Aygo. When you book an appointment with Copart, you get a half an hour slot, and within that half an hour slot you can basically view as many cars as you want. We don't really care whether you take 1 minute to view a car or whether you take the whole half an hour to view a car. It's all basically up to you, as long as you know what you're after and the exact car you're looking for. You should be fine. So I had those 3 cars picked out. I got to the till where they were like, oh yeah, just 3? And I was just like, yeah. So I got to Copart and I said to him the cars that I wanted to look at, and they told me, oh, just 3. And I was just thinking to myself, just 3? I was like, do you think I'll have time for more? And the lady behind the till kindly told me, well, it all depends how good you are. And then I thought, well, the cars that I wanted to see, I only wanted to make sure that we run and drive all right. Possibly just put it into a gear, push it a little bit. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me add another one. I quickly looked from my watch list, and as a young car guy, of course I like Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, all the fancy cars that unfortunately I don't have money for at the moment. So I had a few of these up, and I had this car up on my watch list. I've looked it up, and to me, price at a time it was still 0, and it was already Tuesday, and an auction would have been Thursday morning, so it was less than 48 hours away from an auction, and the price is still 0. While most of the other cars, even like old Corsas and so on, have already got some sort of bid on them. So I went to see this car. The first thing that worried me, and the reason why I thought it was so cheap, actually in the pictures the airbag looked blown. So the curtain airbag to the window, which I have shown previously, the one that has got marks all over because of some tape, it was halfway open, and the way they've covered it when we were taking pictures actually looked like the airbag has came out. So I thought, okay, maybe that's why it didn't start, because I've read about Audis, we've got some sort of like circuits that if an accident does occur, the car actually won't start. So that was the first thing that I wanted to check on this car that was suspicious to me. Well, not really suspicious, I just thought that that's probably why it's so cheap. Then there was another thing. The car didn't start and it had literally 0 life. So on pictures the dash wasn't lighting up at all. The car was basically just absolutely dead. So I wanted to just make sure that it's dead, not like it's missing a battery or anything like that. So yeah. So basically I went over to check this car out. The Aygos and my Mercedes A-Class. Mercedes A-Class was actually pretty good. Like, it ran and drive really well, really smooth, but to be honest, it was 2008, it had 87,000 miles in it, and I knew that later on, when I would decide to upgrade, it would be hard to sell those cars. They're not very pretty, they're not very popular. The Aygos, they weren't too great, as I already said. And then I decided, okay, well, it's time to check out this car. Basically, I went over to check this car out, and I actually came across, which is probably the reason why I bought this car, I came across a really nice fella that was working over there. We got to the car, we looked at the damage. He himself really likes us, and he was like, oh wow, this car has actually got really much damage, which, as you can see guys, he hasn't. So he was just like, well, do you want to start it up? And I was just like, well, no, sorry. What it was, I asked him to put a bit of power to it, and it was like, oh yeah, we can try starting it up. Yeah. And then we tried starting it up, plugging in the jumper cable to the front, nothing. The engine wasn't even turning. But these new Audis, they've got a battery around the back. They've got a battery around the back of them. And unfortunately, because the battery was so dead, you couldn't even open the tailgate, so you actually couldn't even get to the battery. Luckily the doors were open, so I managed to get through the inside of the car to the boot and actually plug in the what you call it. And actually, yeah, plug in the jumper cable through the rear passenger door, and you know what? It has actually done a treat. Oh, be careful with the dog. Yeah, you know what? It has actually done a treat. So the car actually did open up. And once the car has opened up, so we opened up a takeoff, we was able to plug in the jumper box onto the car properly. And then the car was cranking, but it literally came out that basically the car hasn't actually got enough power to start up. And that's when I thought, oh God, this might be it. This might be it. This might be my lucky day, basically. Because obviously no one has looked at the car. No one knows what's up with it. The pictures are all over the place. It looks like the airbags are blown. It just looks like a very, very suspicious car. Right there, let me just get past this car. I really do need a 4x4 for this sort of drive, guys. I wasn't expecting to get here. I'm actually going to turn around now. So there you have it. Basically, I have thought, okay, I have actually got fairly lucky. The car is going to start right up. Obviously there was no guarantee, that was just my thoughts of what I was sort of expecting to happen, as obviously easily the car's engine could have been just gone. That's why I wasn't cranking up. But I've taken the risk, I went home and I was just like, right, you know what, since this guy's still on zero, I'm going to put a high bid up on it, and maybe I'll get it for that price. So the bid that I have put up onto that car was a bid of £850. And then at first my max bid was £1.4 thousand, because that car is still worth it. That car has market value, by the way, guys. The cheapest one around in the country of this year with similar mileage diesel is £5,500. Well, not this sort of mileage, sorry, with a lot higher mileage. With this sort of mileage is around £6,000–7,000, which is absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, like I said, what I did was I put £1,400 on it. Then an auction day came. I really want, and I decided I really want this car, considering how much it's actually worth. I put my bid up to literally my absolute limit of £2,000. And then auction day came around. This car was right at the very end, so I waited up for it. And then, guess what? Someone did try to bid on it. So actually they took me from £850 all the way up to £1,150. So someone did try, but I think what happened was they just thought, well, yeah, someone has clearly put a high bid and they just let him have it. And obviously that was me. So this is how basically I ended up buying this car so cheap. Obviously after all the fees that we add on, the car didn't cost £1,150. The car costed altogether £1,401. Is it still worth it? Hell yeah. Alright guys, well now I want you to let me know in our comments section below. Would you like me to do more videos? Would you like me to restore this car? Or would you like me to try and sell it? As I have seen a couple of these cars with low mileage salvaged, just like this one, so not very hard, but salvaged and on sale on the market for around £5,000. So could this be me making just quickly like £3,000-4,000, or should I restore it fully and probably end up making a little bit less, as I will have to spend money on parts, and obviously it would take some longer. So just let me know what you guys think. What do you guys would prefer to see me to do, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye.